All right. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Chosen, welcome to chat. We got ourselves another Simulation Sunday here today. It is a very chilly day here in Florida, which is very rare for us. I think we went ahead and reached the mid 20s or the mid 20s last night, and then kind of a little earlier on before that it was like mid 30s. So everybody's breaking out their very heavy winter coats. So it was very funny to see, but I'm a Floridian myself, so definitely was feeling the chill as well. But it was kind of funny to see us bring out our once a year sort of winter wear, which is almost non-existent here in the South. But I thought it was pretty funny to see that, and then we have Frozen Mogo, which definitely embodies the idea, or at least for us down here. But yeah, I've been getting into the new episode. I've been enjoying it. If you saw my newest video on the channel, you will know that I soloed the Elite Alert. I had a lot of fun with that. Definitely had to kind of tighten up and find ways to survive certain things in there, what I couldn't survive and what I could. But it was a lot of fun. It's like me running. It's for me. It's like running an Elite Plus solo. So it's a lot of fun for me. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we got down here. I saw some people with already some new stuff from the time capsule. We got some people wearing the new episode vendor suit as well. There's some pieces of it, kind of like the tendrils that go around the body, or like the kind of like the Gray Lantern mist. Like I'll show you a good example here. Like we have Galactus the Devourer over here. He is wearing. He's wearing the hands and the shoulders. I really like that effect where it has it going up and around the body. I really like that. And it's kind of like floating in midair. I think you could do a lot with that. I think it'd be great for like a rage as well. This would be a great rage style with like the the hands and whatnot. This new suit is also based on Lucia, so we have her Energy Reaver set, and then we have her Reborn set, and now this will be the final set, based on her. So we have 3 styles that were hers, and then of course the Armored Core was based on Kyle Rayner. So that was actually the only armor set out of all the chapters that was not based on Lucia. But this is really nice. I know this is based on an anime character. I just don't watch the show or really know much about them, so I don't even know the name of the character. But this is very flawless version of the character. So I just wanted to go ahead and highlight that. Let me fix the setting there. Alright, there we go. Is it good now? Alright. Because I want to give it a quick little spin. And take a quick little clip of it. Because I think it's really good. Because it's supposed to look like muscles and tendons that are like exposed. So, very nice. Okay, let's see here. We have Omega Inquisitor. I think we've seen their styles before, but I don't think we've seen this one. So this was very nice. I liked the headpiece, which is from the Absolute Kryptonian set. I like the spikes. That's also from the set. Yeah, this is a very nice style. I can get down with this. Very nice style. I like the spiky. Like those are the hands I would use for like a destroyer, the Marvel Comics destroyer. That's what I would use with the shoulders. Still working on that. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make that character. I mean, I guess I would have to use that head style, but I was looking for like better head styles, and nothing even comes close. Nothing even comes close, so I was kind of disappointed with that. And if it's something that I'm kind of like not very impressed with. I'm not, you know, like I tend to not, I try to not release things like that on the channel. I'd rather wait for a better style to come along, like a headpiece or something, to allow that to happen, than to have something that's kind of subpar. So you'll see some things where people have made it, but I don't like care for the finished product, so I'll wait until there's something better that comes along. And then we got Clark L over here wearing the whole new suit there with the nice Batman v Superman emblem. Looks very nice. And then we have Supreme Ultron over here. Let me look at chat here because I know I'm slacking a little bit. Chosen says, which head style should I use for my Captain America inspired style? I think the futuristic Flash head style is good. The future Flash head style. Burek said, story arc is terrible, so forced. Yeah, the thing I didn't like at the end, it's like, oh, I'm not going to be a Gray Lantern anymore because I have a niece now. It's like, how about you stop being a Gray Lantern, because it's literally affecting a whole nother like lantern that just happens to be a planet that people are on. Is that not a good enough reason? So I kind of just looked at that, I'm like, okay, you know, let's just pull a niece out of nowhere to have her redeem herself. Like, come on, what are we doing here? Chosen says, I think it's from MHA, but I can't remember. And then Adrian says, the muscular guy. Yeah. So I saw them post on the Discord who they were cosplaying as, and then they showed that version. They showed that version also, like the DC, like what they made in DC. So I know exactly who they're, like, I could picture the character, but I don't actively know the anime. I don't follow it, but I could appreciate that for the one-to-one it matched really well. So yes, I do see things on Discord, and I do look every once in a while. And if I see somebody that I've seen on the Discord, well, you know, I'm gonna follow up and see how it looks, right? So, but yeah, I thought that was cool, and so I saw him out here. I'm like, all right, you know, like, let's go ahead and take a look. And then we have Nara here. I kind of like this. I wish there was a little more detail or something going on with like the face, so you could kind of know, have a little something to it, because I feel like this is a little dark. I feel like you could do a separate hood and have something else going on with the face to highlight something else. You could have either some gold here or have some more of this from that in there or something. It feels like something's missing there, but I do like how they use like short legs and sleeves to really accent the tattooing down the arms and legs. I do like that, and I do like the sword being blacked out. I think that's fine. I think that's good. But yeah, that's not bad. And then we have Space Wolf 40K over here. So I saw this earlier. I actually like the choice of the beard. I like the hair. I think they did a good. I think they did a good job on the character. I mean, they use a lot of the same pieces that I would probably use for like a Space Wolf Marine or whatnot. So that's kind of what I see. So I kind of like that. Let's see here. We have Wagner over on the side. So this isn't bad. This is kind of what you'd expect for a character that's like cosplaying her. It's all right. You know, it's very, you know, it's very, very to the book. It's not bad. Let's see. So we got Flash Prime over here. Let's see. Just gotta find him. probably, there we go, right there. So I like the use of this chest style. I think this is a very nice chest style to go with like an old-fashioned like Jay Garrick. It's not bad. I actually like it. Yeah, it's a nice style. I feel like the pants could probably have. I feel like the pants could probably have, I don't know, a little more texture or something to it to match the shirt. But other than that, it's not bad. It's pretty good. It's very solid version of the character. Then we have Brielle over here. So it looks like they kind of have like maybe like a Norse tribesman like feel to it. That's kind of, you know, like Celtic maybe. That's what it kind of like feels like to me. Something of that nature. Let me swoop down here a little more. We got PPZ over here. What's he got going on? There we go. Let's take a look. So he kind of like made his version of like maybe it's like a Flash, like maybe it's like a Flash or Savitar like version of like a Gray Lantern or something, or maybe it's just, you know, their take on a Gray Lantern, which isn't bad either. Yeah, it's not bad. I kind of like that. Yeah. The more Gray Lantern styles, the better, because I feel like I don't see people making too many of those. The only thing is, I kind of wish they had the emblem too there, but I mean, it's not the end of the world, you know. Let's see. I know I've seen this one before, but let's take a look at it. Or I've seen it before. I don't know if we've seen it on stream. We have Galactus the Destroyer again. So this is actually MacGyver 75. I didn't know that, but yeah. So this is kind of like their take on like Ben Grimm. This is kind of like an alternate idea of, instead of using like a rock skin, they use this material to kind of get the same effect. I mean, it's all right. I think it's maybe a little bit of a work in progress, but you know, they're working with what they got and trying out new things, and I can't fault them for that. All right. Got two things over here, and then we got Goddess Diane or Deanne. So this was to be a Star Sapphire Wonder Woman. I'm glad that we finally got like the head style for her. That's nice. I'd probably use the other hair, but this isn't bad. Very solid. I think I gotta put in a little bit of work for a Bleeze styled character. The only thing I don't really care for is the fact that we still don't have a very good head style for her yet. So, you know, that's kind of a little bit of a disappointment, but she didn't get updated this time around. She may in like later episodes, but right now her model isn't updated, so probably not looking at any new styles for her. But I mean, again, we could be very wrong, because let's take a look here. So on my last live stream that I had, I said that the chest and boots were going to be of Guy Gardner, and I was correct, but I was wrong in thinking that it was a regular Green Lantern Guy Gardner. I figured that since his model was updated, we were going to get the same like stuff from that. We're actually not. We are getting the Red Lantern shirt and boots for Guy Gardner, and I actually thought that was pretty brilliant. They haven't updated the NPC, but they did go ahead and update and make player versions of the chest and the foot style, and once I found out what they were, I bought them immediately. I think together, let me look at the costs. I think together, let me see what it costs there. It doesn't say what it costs. I think they were 150. Yeah, so oh, there it is. 105 Mogo Sprouts, and then this one 55. Yeah, so it was more than 150. Basically 160 Mogo Sprouts right there. But, you know, to me it was worth it. Because, I mean, that's a style I've kind of wanted for quite a while. So I was glad that they went ahead and did that. Unseen says, where did you find that chess piece for your character? So it's from the vendor from the Frozen Mogo vendor. Yeah, Frozen Mogo vendor. So it's the OP items for this for this new current chapter. So it's 105 marks for the chest and 55 marks for the foot style. I know that I made my own version of the character, or my own, you know, like my best attempt at it back, like in one of my big videos. I think it was my first like mega video on the channel. I think it had like 18 styles or something of that nature, something like that. And so, and I went ahead and did my version of that. And I was using the 6th dimensional Kryptonian style at that time. So it just worked out like really well at the time. And so then, you know, and then this came out. So that was just very nice. All right. Inter Angel says online. All right, nice. We have Susano over here. So they're kind of changing up their style a little bit. This is the new Kryptonian style. Or no, not Kryptonian style. The aura is new. It's the Last Sun Kryptonian aura. I think it's all right. I think it would be good for like an energy based character. And I kind of wish it was tintable, because I could really see that going well for like a speedster character. I think if you had like a Flash character and you had that on, I think it would actually make a lot of sense and look like really good. I don't think you could go wrong with that. I mean, like, let me go ahead and test that now. That's actually a good thing to test. So, materials, clear that. We're just gonna do the regular Speed Force. There it is. We're just gonna do the regular for now. No hands. Waist will be Speed Force. Like, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Knock the feet off. Knock the accessory off. And then head style. Can't forget the head style. Speed Force. There we go. And skin. We'll change that to human 1. Make the eyes not red. That's a plus, right? And then bring the skin back up again. Alright, head style, red, black. Okay, we'll do that. And then the black will be the gold. No, we're not trying to make zoom here, but I'll still kind of just to get it started. Alright, switch that to that there. That's gonna go that one there. I think I need to make that gold a little deeper. Waist style, legs, and then chest. I need to change this to a white. And then aura, we'll do Last Sun. And this is what I'm talking about. Last Sun. Now, this for like a speedster character, this would be kind of cool. And then you go ahead and then you put on like the, instead of those, you put on like the speed boots, and you're like, it's like a speedster. I think that'd look pretty good. I think that'd look pretty sweet for a speedster style. Yeah. Yep. But that's kind of what I was thinking along the lines of that. You could kind of go that route. We got Wally West over here. Here we go. So I kind of like having that face style on the head. I think it actually makes it look better. The only thing is, since that yellow's darker, if you had enough like color palettes, I would use another yellow to try to match. I'd take another yellow and make it darker so it'd match. Because you got dark yellow and then it's like light and light. I feel like it's got to match a little better. And then we have Mansur over here. Like, I see he's using this waist style here. What I would use for a Sinestro Corps member, which is so much better now. This is like a godsend. People don't realize this, but let me do... Parallax. None on those. And then we'll just do like the ice pants. I like using those because they're like the best, like slimline. Alright. Let me see if I can get a... So, first one. And the first one. Okay. And then... I don't know, my go-to's kind of the Royal... Here we go. Royal Sorceress. Okay? And then what I would use for the waist would be the Absolute Kryptonian. Look at this. Oh, wait. No, not that one. So I'll do another Royal Sorceress Chroma. There we go, it's up here. I was going to pass it right by again. 2, 3, and then I'll just do 1. There you go. And then the hands, I'll just knock the hands off for now and the feet, because we're not really looking at that. See, that's what I would use for the Sinestro Corps, is literally this belt is great for all lanterns. This is like a godsend for a belt. People don't realize that, but this looks like the best belt in game now for lantern styles. It's going to be the Absolute Kryptonian belt. It doesn't matter if it's the enhanced or the regular. That's the belt to have. Alright. Let me see who else. Let's look at Susano again. It looks like he's got something different here. Alright, so it's kind of like a dark elf style. It's not bad. I like the little ears sticking out. We have Magneto over here. If I can find him. Now he's got to be up at the top more. Here we go. Okay, I mean, I've seen this one before. I don't mind the shoulder piece. I feel like the hands and the feet could be updated a little bit. We got a much better style for it now. I think the Bully Buster would be probably the better version for the hands and the feet. Full stack. I mean, this isn't terrible. I see that they're trying to make that look like hair, but it's alright. Alright, and then we got Cat Burglar over here. Very nice name. I guess they're trying to go for like the, I'm guessing they're trying to go for like the Absolute Universe version of Catwoman, from what it looks like. And then we have Ivora over here. Pretty standard Green Lantern, not terrible, not bad. And then we have, do we have anyone else that I haven't seen? Let's look at this one. This could be a little ways from my character. There we go. Yeah, this is pretty much the elite set. I think the only thing they're missing is actually the cape. But yeah, it's just a very well put together style. Like, I like the bands of light or energy kind of coursing through the suit. I really like that. The hands and feet are alright. They're not really the highlight for me. It's the chest and legs that are the biggest thing. And then the headpiece somewhat to a point. The spikes are alright, but it's the chest and legs that make this style the big deal that it is. In my opinion. And then we have the Chameleon over here. With their Sandman style. What are they? I thought it was going to say like them being a tank or something, but this isn't bad, you know. Very new character from what it looks like. I mean, they're 208, but they could be a skip or something, and just starting on their artifacts. Alright. I mean, I'll look at Damian Hellstrom, but I think besides that, I think I can skip down to another phase. So this isn't bad. I kind of like this. Because I think I remember the character having a kind of a style like this with a trident back in the day, so very nice. Alright, let me look at Wally here real quick, because I think he's got a Blue Lantern thing going on. And then we'll drop down a phase. I think that'll be kind of the call there. Yeah, so we got a Blue Lantern Wally West going on here. Alright. Let's go ahead and drop down to phase 3. Tiny Lilith says, hi Iconic, do you think the devs ran out of time? That's what I think. What do you think they ran out of time on? I'm just curious. I was kind of disappointed with how short the alert was when I went ahead and checked it out. When I started streaming for it on Tuesday. I thought it was really short, and then they kind of, you know, they add more to it when it's like the raid. The raid's a little bigger, has a little more stuff going on, but the alert is very short. Like, I was able to do the elite alert in like 11 minutes. It was just shy of 12 minutes by like 9 seconds or something like that. It was like 11:51. Then I finished up as a single person in the elite alert. So, yeah. YouTube over here, YouTube Explosive says, can you check my style? I'm setting it up. Locks is my tune name. Tiny Lilith says, getting the story done and everything else. I think there was a certain point to where, yeah, maybe they ran out of time. I just kind of felt like the alert wasn't very inspired. I'm not a developer, I'm not any of that, but I probably would have come up with something better for the alert. I feel like they could have, I don't know, when I heard that the Red Lanterns were in charge, I was kind of hoping that Mogo was going to look like Yzma in the comics, and if you're somebody that doesn't keep up with the comics, that's alright. I'll tell you what Yzma is. That is the home world of the Red Lanterns. Kind of like how Oa is to the Green Lanterns. And the whole area is just flooded with plasma, jagged rocks, and just has rage energy flowing around the whole place. And then they have the giant power battery in the middle of that, in the middle of a sea of plasma, basically. I thought Mogo was going to turn into that, and it didn't. It was like frozen Mogo. I'm like, why is it frozen? Like, these are red lanterns. This is hot red energy. It should be just like covered with plasma all over the place. It shouldn't be like, but I guess it's also, oh, you know, you have the gray lanterns, so everything's very sad and dismal and frozen. I guess that's what they were kind of going with, but I kind of felt like with the red lanterns being empowered by sorrow, the red lantern should have had a lot more share in how Mogo looked. And it was kind of disappointing to see them not go in that direction. PPG says, I'm glad it's short, easy to get through dailies. I mean, from that point of view, I guess it's alright, but I kind of wish like it was more inspired. I don't mind it being short, but I felt like it was kind of just like copy-paste, no real thought behind it. It's like you fight Bleeze because she's upset about something. You burn down the ads and you go to the last room. You don't even know why Atrocitus is fiercely like protecting this matron. No, he's like a lapdog playing for her, and then he's willing to fight for her, and you have no context of why. Maybe I just missed it, but it just doesn't make sense for the character. Tiny Lil says they spent the whole time on the open. Yeah, they probably did. I mean, I don't know. Nick says the alert was very sad. The alert is very basic. Both bosses have the same exact repetitive stalling mechanics. Yeah. So, to me, I don't know. It just didn't feel very inspired. I don't know. It just didn't have that same, like, I don't see Red Lanterns being in a very high technological place, you know, a white room with red energy. That's not the Red Lanterns. I think their area is more, you know, like gray metal, Red Lantern going through tubes, like almost like Red Lantern, like fire pits or something. Like, I feel like it should look more like Apocalypse than anything else. But have like a lot of red energy and maybe a little bit of tech here and there, kind of looking like ranks, but you know, a little more. That's like, I don't know if you've ever watched Green Lantern, the animated series. I kind of expected it to look more like that. That's how I kind of see it. Says the devs did spend time, please. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, that's been an NPC that we've had for years. So I don't think that anybody went ahead and worked on that, Nick. But I do appreciate you thinking they did. But yeah, so let's take a look here. We have Duke over here. So they kind of got their Red Lantern style going on. It looks like a Red Lantern like hawk person, maybe like a Thanagarian of some sort. That's kind of what I'd go off with that. And then we have Ivy over here. Now I already know this is going to be good because they're using the new style pieces. I would expect this to look really good with the style pieces. So, like, this is kind of a given. Very nice. Yeah, very, very nice style. It definitely has like that very like floral appearance to it. Yeah, it's very nice. I'd probably use that on my healer as well because she has a IV style, but you know, she's got kind of her own thing going on. Let's see. And then we have T'Challa over here, and then we'll look at Sapphire Star. Marvel Girl says, I wish the alert in Raid was a little challenging, especially in Elite. Felt too easy and too fast to complete. Well, I mean, I can prove that because I got a video of me beating it in 11 minutes as a battle tank. So at least the elite alert is very easy to my knowledge. I haven't run the raid yet, to be honest. Um, Between work and the hours and other things going on, I don't know. I like right when I got off of work yesterday, I just straight went to a nap. I just didn't have the energy to do that. And then I got and then I went ahead and got online today, and then went ahead and soloed the alert, um, and then went ahead and posted that. So that was earlier in the morning, but I did, right after work, I kind of conked out for a little bit. Did Ivy do another style again? Okay, so this is a different one. This one's alright. I don't like it as much as the other one. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Arkham one, but I do like the other one better. That other one, that newer one, it's alright. It's just not as good as the other one. Atomic Fire. Okay, so very basic style, but it's not terrible. I mean, they're good style pieces. I just feel like they could be dressed up a little bit. That's alright. And then we have Star-Lord over here. This is alright. Yeah, it's not bad. Alright. I think I'm gonna drop down one more phase. If there is one more. Yes, there is. Let me look at chat. Tiny Lilith says, the thing I do like is kids being used. It's like the kids being used using a Kryptonian machine. I see a new Kryptonian augment that I want. That what I see. A mini Kryptonian powers maybe. I mean, maybe, but I don't see them putting out another augment, or at least during this episode, because they already gave us a Blue Lantern one. They could be working on a new, like, Kryptonian one, but it would probably be like another episode or something they'd drop it in, maybe the next one. I think it'll be a little bit. It seems like maybe once per episode they'll drop an augment. I don't know if I'd say it's like guaranteed that we'd get another one with this episode. I could be wrong, but you never know. Because it was like the last episode was the White Lantern one, this one's a Blue Lantern, and then the next one, will be whatever, right? PPZ says, did you see the ice comparisons with this episode? What do you mean? YouTube Explosion says, I finished my style. Nice. PPC says, I think the Black Lantern powers are next. Tiny Lilith says, I agree with that. And then Nick says, maybe for the event. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if they'll have any more. We'll have to see. I mean, I'm sure it's not the last augment. It just depends on when they decide to drop them. PPZ, I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know. I don't. It's not that I don't like to touch on the topics. I do see like correlations where maybe somebody might be trying to like slip something in, but I don't think that's the overall I don't think that's the overall feel of it, or at least not at this point. I mean I feel like everybody's trying to add their sort of a message to something that they work on. Some people want to do that. I don't see enough of it to connect a correlation to that. But maybe there are some people that feel that way, and it is what it is. I pretty much ignore those sort of things for the most part, and kind of just I don't really think about them too much when it comes to trying to add things and trying to like teach something to people in the game. Like I want to play a game. I don't want to be taught anything like how I should think on something. So I usually just kind of block those sort of like that sort of messaging out, because that's not really why I'm here to play their game. That's how I kind of see it. So, but if they were a little more forward with it and like really pushing hard, and like, then I'd be like, okay, this isn't the place for it. I'd say that that's something you keep to yourself, or you could post that on your personal or whatever. But at the end of the day, they're representing a company. They're not representing themselves. They're representing a company, and they can't they can't be taking what they feel personally and placing that in a game, and then trying to use that as a platform for it. Just like I don't really try to take anything that I believe and put it into my videos, because it's not the place for it. So that's how I kind of feel about it. Tiny Little says, what it reminds me of is a long Justice Story arc. Somebody was kidnapping metahumans. I know that in the comics, the Yellow Lantern that they're talking about now, that's you know how they said that the matron is this Yellow Lantern or whatever. I forget her name, but I know exactly who she is in the comics. So she basically steals people's children, including the children, and especially the children of Green Lanterns, who are the children of Green Lanterns, and she holds them hostage. She's a very grotesque person. She looks like something that's like out of an eldritch horror or whatever. So her back is like a hollow cage, and she puts like the children in there as she makes off with them. She's a very grotesque person, pretty much as a Yellow Lantern, but she is a Sinestro Corps Yellow Lantern member. So it's like the things that aren't explained to me is like why Atrocitus would follow the matron. Like there's a difference between agreeing with her to get your own ends fulfilled, but then to the point to where, like, I don't know, it felt like there was a lot more loyalty there than there should have been. He's kind of a villain. He's kind of meeting to his own ends. Yes, his crusade in a sense is justified in a sense, because he's doing this to avenge his whole sector that was destroyed by the Manhunters, ergo the Guardians that made them. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It seems like a lot of people that don't understand the character are writing things for the character, and it just doesn't make sense. Just like how Arkillo in Mogo, not this one or the Mournful Mogo, but you know how we had him as a bounty? Arkillo would not go against Sinestro. He would not join the other Yellow Lanterns to go against Sinestro. He just would not do that. He is extremely loyal to Sinestro. He would stand down. So it just doesn't make sense to me that, Sinestro is on the side with Hal Jordan, and then you have Arkillo that's willingly going out to fight as a bounty. It doesn't make sense. These people don't understand the characters. Yeah, Crib. There you go, Crib. So it's it's obviously meant to sound like a baby crib, right? But she's got basically like a cage crib on the back of her, her body. But thank you guys. Nick says, how do you feel about the drop rates for the iconic pirates in the time capsules being so low? I think it's expected, and that's how they make their money. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like they think it's going well, and they're making quite a bit from it. So why would you stop if it does well, right? It doesn't make like you could tell them that you don't like it, but if it still makes money, then there's no incentive to stop it. It's just that's like, we don't like this, and it's like, okay, give them money anyway. Like, that's kind of what it is. I like to finish everything in a time capsule, and I'll open time capsules. That's why I don't really complain about things like that, because I don't want to be a hypocrite, because I do, in a way I do exacerbate that. So I don't like to complain about things like that too much, because then I'd be a hypocrite, and it's kind of silly at that point, right? PPZ says a lot of people drop like 100 each capsule to get nothing each time. It's hilarious. Tiny Lilith says I googled Crib. She looks like a Elden Ring monster. Yeah, yeah, and that's who we're getting for the. I'm guessing for the next episode. I would think since they're doing that, they're setting her up to be for the next episode. But yeah, so that's kind of the character that we got going on. Got going on that Atrocitus is fighting for, basically. So it just didn't make sense to me, but it is what it is, right? But yeah, it's the writing on it doesn't make sense. They don't understand the characters. I mean, these are things that I could tell them, and I'm like, no, that doesn't feel right for the character, or that's not what the character is. They even went ahead and messed up the hair for Kyle Rayner. They gave him brown hair. Like, there's maybe one instance where he does have brown hair, and like all the other times, like 90% of the other time, he's got dark black hair. There's even this one comic. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. There was one comic where the kid goes up to him and he goes, "Hey, you're not Green Lantern. Green Lantern has brown hair." And he goes, "Oh, kiddo, I'm another Green Lantern." Like, even the kid knows the difference between Hal Jordan and Kyle Rayner. But yet, they make a model that has Kyle Rayner with brown hair. Yeah, we don't talk about the brown hair variant. Yeah, it's like maybe one comic they had with that, and all the rest are him with like dark black hair. It just didn't make sense to me. But I don't know. I thought it was very interesting. Yeah, I thought it was very interesting, but I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Like, are we even awake? Are we paying attention? But yeah. So there you go. Let me switch back to phase 1. Sorry, it was rant time. But yeah, so when I kind of see things like, so I mean, they're doing a lot of things very good. Like, I like the different events. I like the new power augments. That's meant to kind of scratch our itch when it comes to like new power sets. I like that. I think that's a plus. We've already got a bunch of new iconic abilities now. Here's what I think. I don't necessarily think it's a terrible thing that iconic abilities are in the time capsules. This may be a very controversial take. I don't really care about that too much. Do the drop rates need to be increased? Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, I think you need to make a way to where people who have already finished the collections can also redeem it on their other characters on the account. That's a major thing I think that needs to be changed. They need to make it to where if you finish the collection, you can redeem it on multiple characters on your account. I don't like how it's a one and done. You only have it for one character, that's it. I think that's a problem. I don't think it would cut into their revenue too much. I think they need to do that. I think they need to make it to where you finish it once, you can redeem it on other characters. That's what I think. But, Medpack says they just need to put it in the marketplace. I don't know, because the thing is they probably think that people won't pay the price that they want when it's in the marketplace. So they'd rather give you the idea that, oh, you pay $1 here, you pay $1 there, you may get lucky, and to a lot of people, that's a lot more enticing than seeing the true price tag of what they'd want for it. And that's the truth, and that's why time capsules are so popular and they work really well in the game. It's because people want to do it that way. They don't want to do it the other way. If they wanted to do it the other way, they would have done it, and time capsules wouldn't have been successful. But it's because they're successful that they continue like that. So I don't think it's going to be changed in terms of I don't think it's be changed in terms of how they go ahead and like do it. But I do think there needs to be a little more of a forgiving way of making sure that you can get that iconic ability multiple times on multiple characters without having to do the collection, you know, multiple times over. I think that does need to be kind of like kicked to the curb and taken out of the equation. Yeah, that's so. I think they need to be a little more generous when it comes to multiple characters being able to get that stuff. Yeah, that's all I'd really change to it. Maybe increase the drop rate a little bit more. Nick says, I mean, I'd pay 20 or 40 to redeem on all characters on my account. They'd probably want way more than that. They'd probably want like double that to redeem it on all your characters. They'd probably treat that like a wolf pack. Just saying, but I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, you know, I never doubt that, right? But there you go. So, I mean, and to be honest, I think they figure they make a lot more money this way anyway. So that's why they do what they do. And to be honest, I don't blame them for it. But at the same time, it's like I'm a player, you're a player, everybody's a player. You have to find a good compromise between the two. You got to make, you know, your bosses happy, but then you also have to make your customers happy. Because then if, you know, one's not happy, you could have really bad fallout in terms of like who decides to play your game and for how long, right? So you have to make both sides happy at some point, and you know, often enough. Let's look here at villain. Let me see if I can find him. Okay, so it's not terrible. We see a lot of older styles here, the shoulders and the boots. Not bad. All right. I think I'll look at another 2 or 3 styles, and then I think we can call this a live stream. We can call it a day. Let me look at 3 I haven't seen yet. We have Not Pinky. Let's take a look at them. It looks to be very interesting. So, Assassin's Creed feel to it. Very nice. The Nimbus is a nice touch. Let's see. I already saw the Saint Walker. I actually thought that was pretty good. It's not bad. We got Pluribus. Let's take a look at them real quick. So it's kind of like a crazy looking Batman. Kind of like it. Reminds me of the James Gordon Batman. Very nice. And then we got Carrie Broly over here. So it's like a little like mini Broly. That's kind of cute. Alright, I'll look at one more. I already saw Storm Strike. I thought they did good style. I saw them earlier in the stream. And then we got Fundraiser over here. Alright, we got a Mazo. Alright, so they just need the new hands, but it looks like they have the we have the legs going on here. Very nice. Okie doke. So I think we've looked at all the styles today. I'm gonna look at chat here real quick and then we'll close out. So get all your questions in now and I'll take a look and I'll answer some questions, okay? Okay, so we have Andre Vids Jr. here saying, isn't it like $100 to share an ally with all accounts or something? I could be wrong. No, you're right. It is. It's 100 and it's 90 if you remember. You get that 10% off on that currency basically. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So you have to be very conscientious of what what characters you're doing. Um, you got to be careful about what allies you're doing. Are they going to work on multiple roles? You can't be very niche with the allies. So I think the big ones that people are running right now are Flash, Flash, Starfire. Trying to think what else. Superman's another big one for like tanks. But in all, I think it's Starfire and Flash are the biggest ones. Maybe Black Adam is in there as like a secondary tier underneath that, but he's kind of a big one too. If you're doing like supercharged spam builds, so that's a big one. I think Constantine, especially for like combat, so you can have everybody stacking their Constantines to get as much might as possible. So I think that's also a very big one. But yeah, it's those are kind of the big ones you want to look at in terms of overall gameplay. And then we have Tiny Lilith. Nice stream, iconic. Like the video on you soloing the Elite Alert. Yeah, for me, it's just like another solo. It's really fun. There's still enough bite to it to where I can die. Yeah, I've died a few times. That one video that I went ahead and posted, that was the best time I've ever done in that alert. But I had finished the alert really well with no death another time before that. But I thought my rotation, like, I wasn't executing it right. I was goofing up. I was kind of shaking. I wasn't like I was kind of like very like had a lot of tension there. So I was definitely like I survived, but it was like by the skin of my teeth. And I was like, do I want this really to be a video that I put out? So I'm like, I gotta like definitely come at them a lot stronger and win more absolute than what I look like in that video. And it paid off. It paid off really well. So and it ended up being a better time. So I was really happy about that. Tiny Lilith says, how's the Superman Supercharge? Is it good? I'm not really sure. I'm guessing it could be good for like healers. I haven't really used it. It doesn't have a very big damage component to it. I mean, it does make combo abilities a little stronger, but it's like that's not going to replace Berserk for me. Like I'm still going to use Berserk, so I just spam Berserk on my build. Blue Lantern Supercharge might be good for like healers maybe, because I think it is like a 5k, it's not a 10k. So it'd be easier to get it back quick enough, I guess. But I don't know if that'd be better for healers, because a lot of them are trying to do that 10k, so they're trying to build up Supercharge to get that max Supercharge from Gemini back. So I don't know. I'm sure there's some builds that may do very well with it. It's just not something that synergize well with my build, that's all. But I think the major takeaway for the Blue Lantern build is, let's look at that, because I already got the ring on here. So the major abilities that I think, this one's okay, not really a big deal. It's single target, not crazy about it. You can spam it, it's alright. Empowering Pulse, this is good if you don't have the White Lantern like Radiant Nova, or you don't want it to be used as a supercharge. I mean, as a finisher. If you don't want to have a finisher and have it interrupt, like if you're using like E-Bond and you don't want to use a finisher because it'll cut your, it'll reset E-Bond, then use Empowering Pulse. I think it does around the same damage. I'm not sure. I think it's pretty close. And it's a heal. And this is really beneficial for healers. I'd recommend they run this on their second loadout. Big deal. Big deal right here. And anybody that's healed by it gets plus 5% might. That's very big in healer role. You're buffing your group. So that's a big deal. Hope Wave's a big deal. This is big for all roles because it's a really good supercharged generator. Not only does Black Adam work with this initially, like the initial hit Black Adam procs off of, but then it also gathers more additional supercharge with every combo after it. So this one's really big for all roles. This one's good for some roles and healers. This is good like AoE knockback, for all roles if you really want it, and it does like good damage, doesn't split. And then This one's only good for healers. I mean, you could use this for a battle tank, but it doesn't do damage to your target, and it would only be used as like a healing ability. This is great for healer abilities that don't have sigils to put on the ground, that to do like dot healing over time. I think it's a pretty decent heal, but it also, anybody that's healed by it gains 5% might. So I think you could stack this with this. I'm not sure, but I think you could stack both of them and they'll get 10% might. I'd have to test that though. So this one, a gain of surge of power and control immunity. So, you know, if you go through a lot of power, you can use this. And it also gives you immunity for a little bit. Creates 3 hard light shields. Basically just 3 like little shields that like go around you. Reduce the damage you take. So it's a reduction shield. It's not an absolute shield. It's not like hard light shield or you know, my redirect rage where it just cuts out the damage for a period of time until it breaks or, you know, until it goes down. It's not like the life shield. This is kind of a self shield, but it's like a damage reduction shield. It's not an absolute. And combo abilities deal extra damage and pulse out a heal at the cost of 1 shield. So you start stripping your shield away, but you do more damage, and you do a heal at the cost of 1 shield. Group members affected by Hope Burns Bright are healed more. So people that are already being buffed by these two with this, and when you use this, then they're healed for more if they're already being affected by these two with the Hope Burns Bright. I don't know. The big ones that the takeaway are these are good for heal DPS, and then this one's good for heal. But these especially for healer. This is a group heal. This is healing field. That's kind of my takeaway for the Blue Lantern ring. But I think it's really good. I think the supercharged generator is the biggest deal out of that. Emir said, I got curious and searched why Atrocitus was helping Crib in story. Guy says Crib has a mind control ability, so Atrocitus is mind controlled, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I mean, I believe you that maybe there's, you know, maybe they're saying that, but I don't know. I feel like Atrocitus. Okay, so Atrocitus, you gotta understand. So a lot of his styles in the game, his name is called like the styles are called protege of the inversions. And the inversions were very powerful beings that were the last of the sector they were the last of Atrocitus's sector, and they were basically enemies of the Guardians of the Universe, which are the, you know, the little guys that basically host the Green Lantern Corps. And they knew a very ancient magic called blood magic, and they could see into the future, and I think it also had like some mind control resistance or something of that nature, that, you know, so, and basically Atrocitus ends up realizing that his vision is to create his own core, but it has to be without them, and he ends up basically killing all of them and making the first Red Lantern rings from their blood in the comics. And it's all due to a lot of blood magic included with, you know, with their, you know, their remainders rather, right? So I don't know, like I feel like a character like him would probably be immune to something like that, or it'd have some sort of a defense to it. I mean, I don't know, it's all right, but I kind of feel like I feel like it's a little weak of a plot point. Andre Vid says they went nowhere with the whole Grey Lanterns overcharged Red Lanterns, similar to Blue Lanterns with the Green Lanterns. Yeah, they didn't go into any detail with that. They didn't take advantage of that. Like, I thought there was going to be a lot more going on. I thought there was going to be a giant red battery in Mogo, or on Mogo, and we were going to have plasma pools all over Mogo. I thought, like how the Grey Lanterns had a Grey Lantern Mogo, I thought we were going to have a Red Lantern Mogo, and we did not. So For me, that was kind of a letdown that we didn't get that. And I was like, as a Red Lantern, like, I want to see that. And then they were like, oh, we got Frozen Mogo in the live stream. I'm like, what do you mean it's Frozen Mogo? You've got Red Lanterns all over the freaking place, and they're being overcharged. Like, you know, like that's a big deal. Oh, zone unavailable. Look at that, zone unavailable. They must have closed out the that phase. And then they said, isn't Trossus the first Red Lantern, so he should be the strongest? Yes. So for me, that was kind of silly to see that. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me from a character standpoint. That, you know, that he'd be vulnerable to something like that. That just didn't make sense to me. But, you know, maybe I'm just missing something here. But yeah, so I just thought, like, the story probably could have been a little stronger. But, you know, other than that, it is what it is. I mean, I like the rewards in the game. I like, you know, hopefully we get some good styles for when they bring up, like, a bonus currency week around or something. That'd be nice. But at this point, it's kind of just a rat race, finishing up feats and things. You know, getting marks and stuff, and then, you know, working on my OP items. That'd be kind of nice. Oh, 2 points on the solo. There's a feat in the regular and the elite, where it's just by luck. It's just by luck that you get this. Where in the solo, if you can go through the maze and pick up blue lanterns that don't turn into gray lanterns, and then you go to Saint Walker and finish up with him, you'll get a feat at the end of the duo for getting a, like, perfect paths of hope or something like that. Let me see. It's perfect path of hope or something of that. Here we go. Path of perfect hope. Yeah, there you go. Where you do the winding paths without encountering a gray lantern. So you have to go, so it's just by luck, you go to one of the blue lanterns, you turn the cog if they don't turn to a gray lantern, and they don't, and none of them do that when you go all the way to blue, to Saint Walker, then you get a feat. Yeah, it's definitely RNG. But what people don't understand is Randolph the Gray is actually part of that feat as well, and they don't know that. Randolph the Gray, he's a gray lantern that will only show up in that cave at the bottom that has all the tunnels that go out of it. He will only show up in that tunnel if you do this feat first. You do this feat, and you know that you didn't have any gray lanterns, and you help Saint Walker out. Immediately go down to the cave at the bottom and take out Randolph the Gray. And then you go back to Saint Walker, finish your solo. You'll get both feats. You'll get the Randolph Gray one right there, but then you have to finish the solo, and you'll get this feat for the solo. But people don't realize that. They do the Path of Perfect Hope. They'll do both of these in each version, and they won't even think of going down on the bottom in the cave to take out Randolph the Gray to get this feat, and it gives you a title. They don't even think about that, and then they're like, where's Randolph? I can't find this Gray Lantern. I can't find him anywhere. It's because they did this feat, and they didn't realize he was part of it as well. So, you get this feat, you know you didn't have any Gray Lanterns, help Saint Walker out, talk with him, and then immediately dip, go down to the cave underneath, take out Randolph the Gray. You'll get this feat, finish the solo, you'll get this feat. Yeah. A lot of people don't know about that, and yeah. Duragoth says, I guess I got both of those feats on the first try. Yeah. Yeah, people don't realize that. Gandalf reference. Tiny Lilith says, thanks for the info. Real Classic says, is it over? And then Iman says, which phase are you? I think we're about done here. I was just taking a few questions. But yeah, I was just taking a few questions, and then I think I'm gonna go either get off or chill and eat something for a little bit. But I appreciate you all for coming out. And you know me, I love answering questions and helping people figure things out that maybe they don't know about, because I had to kind of figure this out for myself, and then I did look on like Reddit to like look for the Randolph thing. It wasn't very well explained in the feats, so I just wanted to shed a little light on that so that you guys can pass it to your friends and your league mates so that they kind of know what's going on. Okay, so I appreciate y'all for coming out and hanging out with me on this Sunday evening. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Keep playing the chapter and, you know, get some feats. And I will see you all in the next one. Laters.